Yeah, there was an algorithm update in January, February, and I just saw it as it took, I mean, the traffic was just declining month over month. So like for 3, 4 months, traffic was declining until it reached a level. And of course, I tried to publish new content. There's a lot of KDR, and I tried to build more links. And I added internal links. I tried to figure out if there was some technical SEO stuff was I don't know, possibly creating problems. And I made sure my site was very fast, and just nothing helped.
All
Nothing
right.
helped. And my theory is just probably the site needed a lot more links, a lot more domain authority, or what you would call
Okay.
it.
And did you do much link building over the couple years? How old was the site, by the way? Or how old is the site
It's
right now?
it's I guess it's more than 3 years old now. At least the first 6 months of that site, I did a lot of weird stuff. You know, all the I mean, first of all, I used the site because I was trying to do some email marketing back then. So there was I just had this idea that I could look more authentic if I also have a website when doing email marketing. And later, I wanted I wanted to try build a niche site instead. And I also did a lot of wrong things, did a lot of bad keyword research, and went for all the very competitive stuff. When I say 3 years old, they at least had 1 year, I think. Or maybe the site is actually more like 3.5 years old. I'm not so sure yet,
Okay.
but possibly a long period. I just messed around.
Got
So
it. So, how much content was on the site too? Do you happen to remember?
150-ish posts.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So you ended up working probably sounds like a year, year and a half on the site. Pretty
I think I did two years,
okay.
roughly 2 years of work.
Got it. And then just in general, is that a fairly competitive niche where like more and more people were probably joining the ranks like us and trying to build sites? So there's like new competitors and established ones all the time.
Yes, it's one of those niches where other maybe not you, maybe not you, but other of your competitors or other your colleagues or whatever you would call them,
Mm-hmm.
they usually tell new people to stay away from this niche. So it's one of those.
Okay. And how did you? There are several of those, by the way. How did you get traction and actually get your site up to making $1,000 a month in a pretty competitive area?
I think I managed to snipe out some really good KTR. I mean, I think that's what I did, and it worked.
Got it.
But I think it was also very hard as the algorithm updates, they change things, and all sometimes the big sites were ranking higher than me, and 3 months later they were ranking below me, and yeah, it was just it's tough place to be.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I know for I mean even niche site project, other sites, you get an update and then you lose some traffic. Next one comes around, goes up higher than before, or vice versa. So it's quite volatile, especially in competitive areas. And one of the cool things, which sort of implicitly in your answer before, you said, I got a couple like KGR terms, and I mean, you actually don't need a huge amount of traffic if you have the right terms. You don't have to rank number one for a whole bunch of terms, but you just need a couple, and you actually can make good money. I know some of the big sites that I've had as far as amount of money that you can earn, they only ranked like number one for like one big term, and it was tens of thousands of dollars per month. It's pretty amazing. So is that accurate? Did you find that like you just needed one or two keywords to hit for you?
Yeah, I think I had 5 or 6 good KTRs.
Okay.
Um, the money, some money posts. Yeah,
All right.
with some just best blah 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 for Y or whatever, and some of the X product versus Y product.
Okay.
Some of them.
Pretty classic kind of
Yeah.
keywords for buyer keywords. So as far as the link building that you did, anything that worked really well or that didn't work well, or did you not spend too much time on it?
It was all guest post in the beginning, which was a lot of work. I think it's even harder in the niche I was in, and I mean compared to other. I mean everything is of course relative, but and later I got a hold of some, I don't know what to call them, like in networks, basically someone telling you you can buy my link on this huge list of sites, and I looked through such list, and usually I would find a few that I thought, yeah, you know what, this site looks okay, and then I would buy a link on those.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I
But
get
definitely a
those
lot of
emails.
spammy sites
Yeah.
on these links as well. On the
Yeah.
site, sorry, lists. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So let's shift a little bit, or actually, before we shift, is there anything else like from growing the site to the decline before we sort of shift over to some other topics here? Anything interesting that I didn't ask or kind of missed?
I think one kind of big topic's been in my head, and it's been. I mean, this was kind of like the last drop. Is thinking about should I start a new site, because this I think it was the third time I seriously considered it, and I finally decided to do it. And every time was after an algorithm update. So I could. So from the last two times where I decided to stick with my site, I actually did manage to get it back and running. Getting my traffic back. So so I don't know. So it's doable, I think, but you never know when you can get the traffic back.
And you don't know if it's going to work. It's the classic.
I think I mean, it should work. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Maybe you can just say, yeah, you don't know if it's gonna work.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
you
just
don't
keep it that.
you don't feel like it's going to work. You're unsure, but kind of what you're getting at, I think, is if you keep publishing good content, if you keep moving forward, like technically, if Google is or whatever other search engines you're targeting, right? Things could change in the future. You should get some traffic if you're putting out information that people are searching for and it's high quality and it matches up with the searcher intent. Like it should work out. That's really what you're, I mean, getting at, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I did it twice. So, but this time I thought, you know what, I have to try something else.
Yeah.
And I think at some point you also get kind of bored with the same site.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That that
You
is
had you
an
had some of the
affliction.
sites you got bored of.
Yeah, many of them. And I think what one thing that happens is, I mean, I like the process overall, but I think like over time, like the excitement of doing the same process over and over again does get boring. So now it's sort of like, I realized I needed to focus on certain sites that were doing really well, and I put more time into those. And then I neglected others, knowing that I could always come back. And I've gotten really good at ignoring those other sites. And like you said, things get a little bit boring. So I have just gotten bored with doing some of the same stuff over and over again, which is why, I find a lot of new things to cover, and I have a lot of interest in podcast and YouTube because it's completely different and there's different factors, different variables. I'm still talking about a lot of the same stuff, and because I still have sites, I can talk about those. So it all works together. But yeah, at some point it's just like, okay, this is boring. Like write more content, find more keywords. Like it's basically the same kind of stuff over and over again. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I think, well, how did you arrive at starting a new site? You were just like, okay, I got burned. This is the third time I got burned on this one site. Maybe I could do something different that I'm interested in now. Is that it?
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
and also the idea of being able to take all the knowledge I had from working on this site and just putting that into something new, which is going to be better from the beginning. So